Romance and horror make a perfect match indeed. Hello guys, it's Amanda here, your cutie of carnage, here on Channel Sundown. Yes, guys, it is that fabulous day of the year, Valentine's Day, where everyone is giving each other presents, going on dates, loving the season and whatever, kids do nowadays. Other than going on a date or dates, like I've been asked, because I was asked out on many dates and I turned them all down to stay home and watch horror films. Why? Because that's what I do. So yeah, here I am talking about it. I decided to go through my movies and watch a collection of romantic horror films, horror love stories, so I can narrow down a short little list of my top 5 favorite romantic horror films for Valentine's Day that I think you guys should see. A lot of people have their favorite ones, but a lot of people don't really think of horror films on Valentine's Day. And I have a collection of films that I love watching on Valentine's Day that I think should be more known and more watched. More known, more watched. Anyways, here it goes. I'm going to start with my number 5. My number 5 is going to be a 2012 film called A Kiss of the Damned. Right now streaming on Tubi is directed by Alexandra Cassavetes. I hope I'm saying her name right. Let's fingers crossed. I'm bad at that. Starring Milo Ventimiglia. The film is about this writer named Paulo who meets this really beautiful woman who's kind of mysterious. He meets her at a video store when they used to have those at a video store, and they kind of meet and they talk, and she's like, oh, I have a skin disease, a disorder, I can't walk in daylight, and etc. Well, he gets really intrigued by her, and he kind of falls for her, all in love and everything, and the girl's named Josephine, and it's Josephine and Paulo, and they're all happy, and everything's going good. And then Mimi, her sister, shows up and decides to change things for the better, what she thinks is better. And this Mimi girl is not as kind as Josephine at all. I'm just going to say this film has a lot of sex in it. This one has a lot of sex. And you guys might know Milo from this show that everyone's watching called This Is Us. But this is way before. This is back like Gilmore Girl days and Hero days. And this was in 2012, so it was quite a bit ago. And yeah, there's a lot of sex in this film. I'm not going to lie. I watched this film and I was like, oh, Milo's kind of hot. Like, I forget, like, he's kind of hot. And it's really kind of like on edge. It's very sensual. It's very romantic. And it really reminded me kind of a cross between like Interview with the Vampire with Hunger. The Hunger. It reminded me a lot of The Hunger. So yeah. You guys remember that movie, David Bowie, The Hunger? Yeah. This reminded me a lot of it. And it's very sensual and very sexy. And it's very bloody. They're vampires, so do vampire things. It's kind of higher up in my countdown because, like I said, I do love the film. I think it's fantastic. And, I put it higher up in the list because it's not downright romantic. I think it's some people who are looking for Twilight are not gonna really be into this one. This film is very romantic, and it's very kind of like there. It's very sexual. But if it's like your first date, I think y'all should see another movie. If it's like first date, trying to get to know somebody, I don't think this is your type of movie. But if y'all in a relationship, y'all know each other, y'all watch it. You'll enjoy it like I did. So, anyways, my number 4 is going to be 2009's Low. This is an actual low-budget film that a lot of people haven't seen, and it's directed by Travis Britz. I saw this movie a while back with a guy I used to date who I don't even know anymore. I have not spoken to him since. But we were hanging out, and he never wanted to go out and do stuff. He never wanted to do anything. Just sit home and watch movies at his house. And so one day he like put this movie on. He just went to sleep on Netflix, and I watched it, and I was actually entertained. I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting. About this guy who does this ritual, this like magical seance, and to find out what happened to this girl he loved. And there's demons. He does the thing and he's in a circle, and this demon, Lo, shows up to tell him, and he's like, I'm trying to find my girlfriend, and he's like, oh, so he's basically telling the story of like the girl he used to be with and love. She was a, you know, this and that. She was not a good person, what have you, and all these demons pop up, and it's a musical. They sing, they do musical numbers, and it's really funny, and it has a lot of comedy, and it's a lot of dry humor. The whole point of the movie is he's sitting in this circle, this seance circle. He's talking to this demon, and they're watching all these scenes kind of play around him, and it's really interesting, and it's really kind of like, it seems kind of like a play, like it would make a good play. So I'll know where it's streaming, but if you guys get a chance to watch it, check it out because it is really interesting. Alright guys, here I go to my number 3. Number 3. It's going to be 2013 Horns. The film is directed by Alexandre Aja, who is the director of High Tension, Crawl, as well as the remake to The Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes remake, he did that too. Horns is based on a story by Joe Hill, who's the son of Stephen King, and the screenplay was also written by Joe Hill, so that's kind of nice to know that, you know, he kind of did the screenplay as well, because a lot of times they kind of shake the story up. I've never read Horns, but, you know, knowing that the guy who wrote it also was into the screenplay is kind of promising. The film is starring, of course, Daniel Radcliffe. You guys know from Harry Potter. But I saw Horns because back when I was younger, I had the hugest crush on Daniel Radcliffe. My dad loved Harry Potter and was into that. I wasn't really into Harry Potter, but I was really into Daniel Radcliffe. I thought he was adorable. He's still cute. I still think he's adorable. The story is about this young man named Iggy, and he gets caught in some difficult mess. He is in love with this woman. He's been in love with her since he was a kid, and they're just hopelessly in love. Well, she ends up getting murdered. She gets killed. And when she gets killed, he, of course, is the prime suspect. Everyone thinks he did it. Her father thinks he did it. His family thinks he did it. Everyone thinks he did it, and everyone plays him as guilty. He is going through the trial. Everybody in the neighborhood thinks he's bad and he's evil. So he's going through all this stuff. Well, one night, he gets into, after going through the depression of losing the one he loves, and everyone basically just throwing him in the corner and just dragging him down, he starts drinking and partying and doing all of that jazz. Well, one day, he wakes up from a drunken stupor of being crazy and realizes he has something growing from his head. It's horns. Hi, title says it. Horns. So he has horns growing from his head. And he's like, hey. And he goes to the doctor and he talks to the doctor and he realizes when he's talking to these people that people start acting a little strange, a little different around him. People start basically telling him their darkest secrets and their sins, and he realizes, wow, these horns have powers, and I'm gonna find the person who killed my beloved. The story is kind of sad, but it's really funny at the same time. The movie is really funny. There's a lot of funny parts, like when he has the horns, he can make people do stuff, and then, you know, people like his dentist, admit to some things, and the police officers admit to some things. So it's really funny. It's a funny, loving story. Daniel Radcliffe is awesome in it, and he is this is far from Harry Potter. Well, he's done a lot of things like Jungle and stuff. So yeah, Jungle was something else. But he's done a lot more stuff since Harry Potter. So I think, you know, at the time when he did the film, he was still on that Harry Potter cuff of things, and I think like over time, now he can do this movie, and I don't think it is, but at the time, it was kind of like, oh, okay, because he gets very sexy. He gets very sexy in this. Spoiler alert. My number 2 is going to be a film that's also right now streaming on Tubi, and that is going to be 2013's Odd Thomas. Directed by Stephen Sommers, starring Addison Timlin, who plays Stormy, and the since passed, rest in peace, Sir Anton Yelchin. And the film is about this guy named Odd, who is odd. That's the best way to put it. He's odd. He has this gift of being able to see dead people. Like, he sees visions of people coming to him dead who since passed. The only thing about that is it's kind of tricky because you don't know who's dead, who's alive when he sees things. And his girlfriend, Stormy, is aware of his gift. And they both been in love since they were little kids. And he says in the film, we were meant to be together for life. We were meant to always be together forever. And so it's just cute to kind of watch the film because in the beginning they kind of established their relationship. You know, he has all these things and she knows about him. And she's supportive, and she loves him, and she cares for him, and she's there for them. For him, I meant him, not them. I don't know. I can speak English. He's there for him, and the story gets really kind of wompy because he sits there and he explains it. And you hear the voiceover, he kind of just tells the story about his gift. And the story is pretty interesting because he's trying to find out this mystery of this thing going on. But I put this film on my countdown because the love story between him and Stormy are really, it really gets to me. It's really a good story. And it's sweet. And them just together, it's adorable. She has love for him and he loves her. I forget how much I like this movie when I don't watch it for a while. Like, I watch it and then I'm like, oh, I love it. And then I don't watch it for a while. I'm like, oh, it's alright. And then I watch it again. I'm like, oh, I love this movie. So yeah, the relationship between them two, it makes my heart beat. And it kind of made me want to cuddle my pillow. Guys, I swear I can speak English. I just slurred the word English. Yeah, I can speak English. My number 1 is a film I actually rewatched the other day because I picked this as my number 1, but I was like, maybe I should rewatch it, maybe, you know. And I love this movie just as much as I loved it the first time I saw it, and that's going to be 2014 Spring. Spring is directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. It stars Nadia Hilker and Lou Tyler Pucci, who plays Eddie. Okay, so this is what the film's about in a nutshell. This kid, he is taking care of his dying mother, and, you know, she's dying of cancer. It kind of puts his life on hold. Mother ends up passing away, and he's going through the depression of losing both his parents and all this chaos going, and he kind of is stuck in a rut in this town, kind of vacate to Italy. So he flies to Italy, and he goes there, and he, of course, is enjoying the surroundings. He meets 2 English guys, and he parties with them and has a good time. Well, then after that, the guys are like, okay, we're going to head back and party more. And Eddie, decides that he wants to establish a life in Italy and kind of get to, you know, living and working and what have you. So he gets a job working for an older man on the land. He's basically just building and fixing and doing farm work. And he stumbles upon this beautiful woman that he just thinks is just the hottest thing he's ever seen. She's beautiful. So he starts hitting on her and he develops kind of a relationship with her. Well, things get interesting and he realizes that there's a lot more things going on with her than meets the eye. It grabs you by the heart. It really does. And I love this movie. And it's not like a whole new world Aladdin kind of fairy tale theme at all. But if y'all get a chance, watch Spring. It is so good. It is my #1 favorite romantic horror film. I love this movie. Alright, well that concludes my Valentine's Day countdown. Do you guys have any films that you think I left out? Let me know. Comment below. Comment below. And do not forget that I seek approval. Approval. So guys, do not forget to like, if I can point at it, like, and subscribe. Like these videos, like my video, and subscribe to my channel. Have a great Valentine's Day. Until next time, bye! I just realized most of all my movies are like 2013, 2014. That is a mere coincidence. That was not on purpose. That was coincidence. I guess all my movies are from 13, 14. That's strange.